Welcome to the Fifth Trooper Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Fifth Trooper Podcast. You know who we are. I'm not going to introduce this anymore.
Perfect.
And so we're here. No one else, just the two of us today. Evan, what's up, man? How are you?
Oh, good. How about you?
I'm good. It's interesting. I was telling someone the other day, someone asked me how I was doing with quarantine. And I said, amazing. It's like if you took my dreams and made them a reality. And I don't mean the people getting sick and dying. What I mean is I have an excuse not to deal with people. So that's great. You know, like I don't have to go talk to anyone. I can avoid people when I'm out. Most people don't talk to you now if you have to go to the grocery store or something. Like, it's amazing. So
That's true. They do try to dodge you now.
yeah, I'm enjoying that part of it. Been, doing a lot of stuff in the homestead, which has been great. And but yeah, I don't know. The Legion Legion is nothing's happening basically right now.
Yeah, that's right, nothing's happening, no new articles about new product, right? Like
Right.
no surprises. I know there'll be I'm sure there'll be like some stuff coming up, just general stuff, but nothing like world shaking. I know
Right.
Invader League's coming. That's really the big like Legion
Oh
thing.
yeah. Yeah. So when you guys listen to this podcast, it'll be Wednesday. Uh, and so they're having if you're interested in Invader League and you want to see what's happening, on Eric Reha's channel, Twitch channel, they're going to have a launch and bracket announcement. And that's twitch.tv/R1H4. So you can check that out if you're interested. If you're not, that's cool. Don't worry about it. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it because I hate TTS. And yeah,
That's fair.
even in quarantine, I hate TTS.
I yeah, the only thing to mention is they're adding some new units. I've been playing a little bit with Cad Bane.
Yep.
Like I'm playing him just Hunter, just Cad Bane and Hunter.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, you could really feel like I don't know what the other card is. Like no one knows, right? Well,
Yep.
none of the lay people know, such as myself, about what the other cards are. So all we have is like the Punch Gauntlet, and I don't know how I feel about that right now.
Right.
I imagine he must come with something else. Otherwise, I feel bad. But even though he only has his little pistols, I've been building my current objective deck with the new vital assets to have missions that are low scoring. So
Yeah.
like 1 or 2 point victory points, and then I'm
Yeah.
trying to get the bounty. So the bounty works more for me now. So I won't do like recover supplies. I won't do intercept the transmissions. Key positions is a maybe. Moisture evaporators is probably yes. And so I'm trying to leverage the bounty, or if I wasn't playing him, secret mission, to really pay off for me more for getting it. So I'm hoping you'll see more bounty hunters come back.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually, while we were on the cast 2 episodes ago when we had Zach on, I impulsively signed up for Invader League while they were talking, just because I was like, screw it, I need to play some Legion. I hate TTS, but I'll play some Legion. And I actually signed up for Empire. I thought about going CIS because I have this really cool list, which I'll talk about in a second, that I really want to play. But I just figured Empire's what I know right now, and it's what I was going to play at Worlds anyway. So it's like, screw it. I'll just play Empire. It's what I know. And I'm really excited to do like a double vehicle list with the new cards.
Roll out and bombing run both work pretty good for them.
Yeah,
Hard to stop an ATST when it wants to be in your face.
Yeah, and I think it might be really good. ATST tank or double ATST. I was looking at a double ATST list. Might be really good with payload too, because you can kind of stop them from doing some of what they want to do. Like I think there's
block a lane.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna play, and that's when I would play. But here's my list that I'm like super excited to play, and I probably won't play it in TTS just because TTS is never a good like canary in the coal mine for how your list is. It just doesn't work right. So you never know what your list can truly do.
Sure.
So, but as soon as these come out and we can play in person again, are you ready,
I'm ready.
Evan? So it's a CIS list.
Okay.
Grievous
Okay.
with aggressive tactics, tenacity in his gun.
Okay.
The Annihilator. 6 units of B1s with an extra battle droid. No
Okay.
heavy upgrade.
Okay.
Just 7
6
yeah,
droidy boys. Yeah. Okay.
7 droids and 6 units, right? So okay.
You're up. Okay.
2 Stap Riders
Okay.
and the AAT with the tactical droid pilot and the high energy shells.
Oh, okay. That's what 3, 9, 10 activations. Is that right?
10 activations, 782 points.
Oh, 82. Oh, you should go
Yeah.
for that deep bit, huh? Okay.
Well, I mean, I just haven't decided what to do the 18 points with yet. Like, I'm thinking maybe a link targeting array or
I think drop
yeah,
a HQ uplink on one of your boys. I think
yeah,
that's probably an 8
yeah,
point
because
bid's pretty
they
clutch.
got coordinate to droid troopers. So
Yeah, so out of because I've had quite a bit of reps in with CIS at this point. When Grievous does the 1 pip dive, like his
yeah,
Jedi Arts, you're gonna be real sad when everything has to fire and not move. So
right.
if you put the HQ uplink on, you can at least even if you only use it once, it saves you just 1 turn of being like real sad.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that. And so maybe one HQ uplink on one of those guys that'll put me at 792, and then maybe link targeting ray on the
Yeah, I
tank. I
mean,
don't know.
honestly, with that many activations, who cares?
Yeah,
Almost maybe about the bid, just like whatever. Especially if you now you're doing the tactical droid. Is that the
that's the
one
one
where
that
you?
gives you field commander and you
Oh,
lose
okay.
AI attack.
Oh,
I
that's
think
not
it's
bad.
good for
Okay.
the lose AI attack, right? So you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
him on there. You don't give your tank an order because you're doing something else. Well, when he gets his order, he could do whatever he wants,
Yep.
because you
No,
lose AI. So I like that,
I honestly think all the droid pilots are good. The more I've played the
Mm,
tank, they all have a place for their play style.
yeah.
Because you could do with the extra points. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty good because I was doing Dooku tank and droids. I'd start my order chain on the tank, and I'd do the droid that can pass the order token,
Yep.
and so then I'd have link targeting right too, so he gets order passes it, then linked, and then you could even, or if you didn't want to do linked, you could do that new card. You get to coordinate 1 to 2 out
Mm-hmm.
to make them a little farther. So yeah, you got a lot of options. The staff riders are going to be real clutch for you, I think.
Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking for okay, so that's my list with some tweaks here and there, right? So here's what I'm thinking for cards for my play deck.
Okay.
Breakthrough,
Okay. Yeah.
payload.
Okay.
That's from Vital Assets. Basically, payload says, where is it here? Starting with the blue player, each player places a bomb cart within their deployment zone. Each player controls the bomb cart that they place. Then, starting with the blue player, each player marks a piece of terrain by placing an objective token matching their opponent's color on that terrain. Each chosen terrain piece cannot be within a deployment zone, but can overlap a deployment zone. At the end of each round, starting with the blue player, each player's bomb cart may pivot and then move a speed 2 move if there are more friendly unit leaders than enemy leaders at range 1 of it. At the end of the game, each player gains 1 victory token if their bomb cart is at range 2 of the terrain piece marked with an objective token matching their color, 2 if it's within range, 1 or 3 if it is in base contact with the terrain piece. So with payload, with the, I think this would be great for this list because basically you use the tank and the sap riders to like, you know,
Yeah.
to like maybe circle around because it's unit leader. So you could put the sap riders and the battle tank near their payload, and then they're not going to be able to move it.
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty funny. You just block the road.
Yeah, yeah, basically. So payload, breakthrough, key positions, because that's unit leaders, right?
Yep,
So
that works
good.
for tanks.
And
Yep.
then yeah, and then bombing run.
I key positions was really good for me when I was running the tanks. You just park it on it,
Yeah,
and then
yep,
it just gets to stay there and aim and fire pretty much the whole game.
yeah, it's
Just rush the
amazing.
middle.
Um, then for deployment, battle lines, roll out,
Okay, yeah.
hemmed in, and danger close. So roll out, hemmed in, danger close are all from vital assets. And I like the configurations; they play well to the tank and the steps and the battle cards that I
Yeah.
played or picked. So that's pretty cool. Then for conditions, hostile environment because droids don't care about suppression. War weary because
Yep.
droids don't care about suppression. uh, Fortified positions for the droids. You could put the barricades out, which is pretty cool. And then supply drop just to keep it fun.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. With mine, I think I'm doing Grievous, aggressive tactics, strict orders, tenacity, and the pistol. I'm doing Cad Bane, or the Chad Bane himself with
Uh-huh.
just Hunter, and then four groups of B1s with the extra man plus their EC1, the three black die.
Yeah.
One super battle droid group with an extra man and the AC, the three red gun, the AC2M, I think I'm getting that wrong, but the three red gun, and then two groups of snipers with the hunter. And because they're always probably going to be AI. The idea is if I hit like a Ton or a hero, they'll get an aim to try to get Pierce. But I took uh, hostage exchange, um, hostage exchange, uh, moisture vaps,
Hmm.
uh, not breakthrough, but the bomb cart, and I think I took key positions. And
Hmm.
that way I can try to leverage that extra point that the bounty gives me.
Yeah.
And on hostage exchange, I actually like that objective quite a bit because you have to pick one of your cores. And so if you pick a weak, like if you try to just do the core attacks, you're just bringing three naked cores.
Hmm.
You're gonna be real sad when you just
Yeah.
put like a
Yeah.
4-man group of just storms out there,
Right.
and I have a 5-man group of super battle droids.
Yeah.
Uh, like they just mine won't die, right? Like I can get out of there because the hostage gives you lowers your speed down to by one, so to one generally, but it gives you an extra courage. So they have courage 3, which is panic 6. So they'll get both their actions until they either A get ioned or B get 6 suppression, which is fine.
Mm.
And I can even fight with my hostage carriers, right? Because they're
Right.
just so
Right.
beefy, and then they're closer to you now. So I can either just
Right.
dive with them, or if I decide to run, like you're gonna have to fire at them a whole turn to take them out. Whereas maybe like a 4-man group of like clones or rebels might just get like bad dice happen, right? It might just get one or two shot. So I like how you actually have to build some strong cores now for some of these objectives. I like to see the game kind of going back towards that, right? Like strong
Yeah.
activations. So I think that's a good. I really like some of this new stuff. I think it's good for the game.
Yeah. 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 So I was playing around. I think it's a ridiculous list, but I thought it would be funny. I'm still working on the details, but it's 11 activation Empire list.
Okay.
It has right now. I don't have all the upgrades and everything in yet,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I have Veers, 6 stormtroopers, no heavy or anything yet. 3 speeder bikes and an ATST with the armor pilot and the twin light blaster cannon
Oh wow. Okay.
for 11 activations. And
That's pretty good.
so, yeah. And so I was thinking of something, especially with vital assets, right? Like you put payload, bombing run, like almost similar to the layout, what I put together for the other one.
Yeah.
And you got yourself, some potential to win, with that. I think vital assets really changes how this game's going to be played and what lists you can and can't bring.
I think it's just cool because I was building my deck and I could actually build it to what I felt was strong for my army, and
Yeah.
that's a good change because man, we play a lot of Legion, right? Like a lot of Legion. So our my mileage on the current command cards is different from most people's, but I am so sick of them. Holy cow,
Mm.
am I sick of like intercept transmissions or actually more sabotage moisture vaps like battle lines and something else. I'm like, dude, I can't. I can't.
Right.
I
Right.
just can't play this anymore. So to see the new ones come up and actually be like surprised and have to reread them a couple times to figure out exactly what I need to do, I think is that's super cool. Like it's just fun to actually build the deck. And I leave stuff out on purpose now. I'm like, no, I definitely don't want those in the deck. They don't work for me. And now I think I do probably want to bid because my army works best if I can get these.
Hmm.
And when we did that, when I was playing, I've only played like 2 games with my setup so far, and everything that's out, I like. I'm not
Yeah.
like, oh man, I had to take that, so I'm gonna get stuck with it. Now it's everything that I put out. I'm like, okay, my army could do any of this.
Right. Right. Right.
Will I think a bid war come? Maybe. But like in Legion, like in X-wing, if you took a deep bid, it's probably because you're playing a high, like an ace list, which is guys who want to move after all the information's gone. So you take ships who are aces, like 3 of them, and then you take a deep bid. So if someone else took aces and they didn't go as deep as you get to move after, and that's
Mm.
very strong in X-wing. In Legion, when you take a bid, you do get like the advantage of your deck and table placement, which can be very strong. But also, you sometimes like the sacrifices you make can kind of haunt you a little bit. Like, man, I really wish I'd taken that extra dude there. Man, I really wish I had tenacity on this. So even
Right.
like 10 points can really feel like you're missing it in Legion. I think that's cool. So I don't predict like you will see bids that are like 20, 30 points. Because at that point, I feel like you're just throwing away like you're making some hard sacrifices to make sure you get that
Hmm.
bid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know. Do you know?
I sure don't.
Evan doesn't know. None of us know.
but uh, but yeah, so that's actually probably the Invader League's the most thing to talk about right now. I mean, we got what they were hoping for releases in June at this point, I think.
Let's see. So, I mean, we saw that like Iden, Cassian, and the AAT are kind of trickling out through retail right now,
Yeah,
right? And I don't know. I don't know how that's working. I don't understand why it's working, but that seems to be,
just what's happening.
seems to be what's happening. But yeah, I would assume everything that's been announced we'll probably see by August, September at this point. Maybe
Yeah,
later, depending on how long the quarantine goes. But I mean, really, I can tell you, the audience, and you, Evan, this as a fact. The FFG produces their stuff in China. We all know that, right?
hmm
Here's the thing: China's still manufacturing, so nothing's stopping product manufacturing right now.
yeah,
Shipping's getting a little delayed here and there, depending. We haven't experienced any delays with our mats. They're due this week. They've been due this week for months, right?
yeah,
Um, so we due into us, and hopefully I can get them out this week. That's the goal. But like, so I know that there's some delays, but there isn't as many delays as people would have you believe. But so they're getting in products. So then the question is, okay, it comes in, and then we distribute it, right?
yeah.
And so the hard part is having distribution, because they're probably not an essential workforce. But I mean, they're still getting product out there. So the question remains, why should they be delayed? Why not get them out to all the retailers who are able to sell them now, and let it go?
Yeah, it feels pretty bad. Our local area has none.
Yeah.
But like it's you see some people get them, some people don't. There's just like no like consistency to a lot of like who gets what where. And as a guy who ordered his tank like last year, I think at this point, for the droids in preparation for Worlds, I just want my tank, man. Like I get, 100% get it. Uh, Human lives need to be involved to do this. It's dangerous to be around people. I get it. Like I am totally
Yeah.
not saying I want my toy now because I am entitled to my toy during a
Hmm.
pandemic. That's not what I'm saying. But also, so that aside, it also is just weird how like they're just sporadically showing up everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like they're going out, but no one knows when and where. And uh,
Right. Well,
I
the question is, okay, so how the model works, most of you are aware, and Evan, you probably know, but
yeah
basically, FFG is the manufacturer, and creator of the product. They have it created and manufactured in China. It comes on boats. It then gets from there, it either goes to a distribution center for FFG Asmodee, where they distribute it out to like Alliance or like these big Peach State or these big,
Yeah.
um, gaming distributors, or it goes directly to the distributors, which is more likely the case where you would say, okay, Alliance distribution is going to order 10,000 units of this. So we just have that shipment go directly to Alliance and then they distribute it, right?
Hmm.
So the question is, when did the distribution happen? So the shipments came. The shipments are coming no matter what, right? Like
Yeah.
China's manufacturing and shipping stuff. It's coming here. So is it getting on trucks? The trucking services are still working. Shipping is still essential. So, you're still getting UPS at home and FedEx in the mail. Well, that doesn't stop logistics either from regular trucking companies from trucking stuff either, right? They're all considered essential businesses. So China's manufacturing. The boats are boating them over. The trucks are picking them up and taking them somewhere. Like none of that is stopped. So the only real monkey wrench is at the distributors. Are they labeled essential or not? And if they are labeled somewhat essential, what will happen is they have to have rotating staff, right? So they have
Yeah.
to rotate what hours that they're working, but maybe they have two crews, A crew, B crew on. A crew works this time, B crew works this time to make sure there's no hiccup.
Yeah, you're under
Oh,
your 50%. Yeah.
right. So what's happening now where we're seeing these leaks, this is not in Europe. This is in the US where some stores are getting this. So what's happening is the distributors got the product and maybe have had it for a while. And then what they did is they started shipping it out to retailers who then were like, "Oh, you know what? I'm losing money because I can't physically open my doors. I'm selling this
Yeah.
online. You know what? I'll fine. I'll just sell it so that I make my money." So it's making it out somewhere. So the question is, and we don't know, but the question is FFG or Asmodee stopping that and saying, "Whoa, whoa, 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 you're breaking date," or is it because there's so much strain on the distributors to get it from their warehouses to the retail that we're seeing this trickle effect because it's just coming in slowly to everyone?
Hmm. I mean, to me, it looks like it's just coming in slowly. But
Yeah.
then again, like, I don't know, maybe there's a street date, and they're just some people are unwilling to break it, and some are. Uh, that's a good question. I really don't know. I know it. All I know is I see people getting tanks, and I want my darn tank.
Yeah.
And if people are getting them within the safety regulations of, workers and everything, then gosh darn it, I want my tank too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point. Like it's, you know, we'll be happy when this is all
Yeah.
over for multiple reasons. But one, just getting like shipping back up. Like
Hmm.
it's, how much
Well,
money I've saved because I can't order things 2 day on Amazon anymore. Like all my unessential stuff is like 2-3 weeks out.
I've noticed it's 50-50. Like, so the workaround to that, by the way, anyone who's out there, as long as you don't get it from supplied by Amazon. So if you look at where it's from, and if it's in an Amazon warehouse, it won't be 2 day anymore. But if you get it from someone who's a reseller on Amazon, like especially if they're in the United States, if they ship through the United States Postal Service, and as long as it can be in a large flat rate box or a standard
Like one of those
shipping,
baggies. Yeah.
any standard shipping box from the Postal Service, you can get it within 3 days anywhere in the United States.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, so like for instance, for those of you maybe who have seen our Facebook page, I've been posting. We got a laser cutter for the business, and we're going to start doing laser cut tokens and wood and all this different stuff. And so I've been ordering um, the plastics, and it's been coming through United States Postal Service in their flat rate boxes. It's 3 days anywhere in the U.S. So if they ship it from California, which somebody did, I got it 3 days later.
Oh wow. Okay. Dang.
Yeah, I mean, like as much as certain people at high levels do not like the postal service, they have a great system, and it's the reason it's the United States Postal Service, right? Is it's really good. But yeah, so I think it's interesting because, and Evan, you know this, we've been doing this for a while, and for those
Mhm.
of you who've listening, every once in a while, I like to come on and talk about like the real logistics of how
Oh,
things are
sure.
working, and I think this is why sometimes it can be frustrating to be a fan of this game because and then know what I know about like logistics and stuff, because it's like I know that this isn't a legit, like this may be quarantine is a hiccup, right? But
Yeah.
before, when they were like delayed on
Oh,
all this
yeah.
stuff, like this isn't logistic issues. This is internal issues that you're not, you're not paying attention or accounting for everything.
Yeah, that's
And
what I was
so,
hoping. After they said they're going to split into the two different companies, maybe that would,
yeah,
or the two different not companies, but like sides. I was
right.
hoping maybe that resolves it, but I don't know. All I know is it's been real hard to expect anything on time,
Yeah.
just to have a track record. But like
All Evan knows is he doesn't have his tank, and that makes him
yeah, that's
sad.
my god. All I know is I've been looking at other miniatures games, just to hold my time while I'm waiting for my Legion stuff to come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got Fallout, I got the Skyrim, BattleTech. I've even found this cool boat game called it's like Steel and Iron, I think it's called. It's like X-wing style gameplay with like pirate ships. So
Hmm.
you get a 3x3, you put the ships out. You've got movement templates, so you can do like anchor turns and catch the wind, things like that. I just saw it online. I'm like, we've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves, so I'm like, oh, that might be fun. I'm just kind of just looking at anything now. I'm like, oh, that's in stock. Maybe I'll just
What
do
was it
that.
called?
Let me find it here. It's So it's originally I was looking at a game called Blood and Plunder.
Hmm.
Miniatures market. Uh, Miniatures market. Blood and Plunder is you kind of make your own. Um, you make your own little group of pirates or
Hmm.
freebooters or whoever you want, and you get a ship, and you kind of make your own ship, and that plays on a 3x3. And as I was looking at that, I came across a game. Gosh, it's gonna take me a sec to find it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
Yeah.
while you're looking for it, 'cause this interests me. So I have been, we talk, so, every Tuesday night or roughly, we do 8 p.m. We do our live stream for Sea of Thieves. And, I know some people didn't really enjoy us talking a lot about it on this podcast, but just to talk, like I've been obsessed with anything pirates lately. So we're playing that game once a week. Rachel and I just like banged through Black Sails, the series. Like Evan, I highly recommend it. And
Okay.
it's like they had 3 seasons, and basically what Black Sails is it kind of mixes real pirates that actually existed, that we know from the history books that were
Yeah.
real, but then it also is supposed to be the prequel to Treasure Island. And
Okay.
so like it is so good, and it's like it made me obsessed with pirates between that and the show that actually I got out an edition of Treasure Island that I'm going to start reading too. Like, man, I've been just hooked on pirates lately. And so when you're saying there's a board game too, I'm very interested. He still
Crap, if I
hasn't
could just
found it,
find it.
folks.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying. So it's not Sales of Glory. Sales of Glory is like the same idea. Did you remember uh ever buying? There was, oh God, what was it? It was a little miniature ship game, pirate game, and you bought booster packs, and each booster pack came with a little like paper built ship, and it came with little tiny D6s, and you
Huh,
played on just like a table. Do you remember that?
yeah, no.
Oh God, I don't remember the name of that either. That I used to, because there was like $5 a booster pack, and you got two ships in there. And they say you could just play out of one, but that's never, because someone would get like a battleship, someone would get like a sloop, and then
Yeah.
like the sloop would make a wrong turn and just like, sorry, game over.
Yeah, just eat the cannons. Yeah.
But I'll keep looking while we're talking. God, I couldn't believe I didn't save it because I was like looking, I was hemming and hawing, and then I found I think it's called Blood and Plunder. These guys were at the Nova one year, and they
Hmm.
just had a box of okay, this is actually the same people. All right, cool.
Okay.
Um, Flintlock games. So they had a box that was just full of 3D printed. Oak and Iron is the name of the game.
Oak and Iron. Okay.
Oak and Iron. It's a squadrons, convoys, flotillas, and fleets. It's a like a starter goes for, let's see, 69, and you get
Mm-hmm.
you get one, two. Let's see. You get 5 ships. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ships. You get the
Mm-hmm.
movement templates. You get upgrade cards. You get ranges, and it comes with X-wing style attack dice, like different
Oh,
like
yeah.
headings, not just here. Let me link that to you. This
Oh,
actually looked kind
I
of cool.
found it. I found it on
Okay, did
Board
you?
Game Geek. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked kind of cool, man.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, because it's the X-wing style, and the mat looks pretty
Historical
neat.
naval battles in the age of piracy. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so this looked cool because this is the kind of game that's fun to watch on a stream. Because
We could literally make this game. There's like
right,
nothing in here that's like
yeah, right. Uh,
Yeah.
what's cool is because when you're looking at the game, the reason why X-wing is fun to watch is because there's all that bluffing going on
Yeah.
about like, oh, which how's he going to move that ship? Oh, I would have
Right,
gone
right,
that
right.
way, right? Like it's kind of surprising each turn, and so something like this would be a lot of fun. So maybe at some point, we've always been looking for the next just something interesting to play, right? So
Yeah.
maybe
Oh man, it
we'll
looks
look at
like
this.
they've got a ton of upgrades too.
Yeah, they've got the Oak and Iron Gentlemen of Fortune, Men of
Yeah.
War, Iron
Blackbeard's
Merchant,
Revenge. Oh, that's
Blackbeard's
great.
Revenge upgrade kit. Yeah,
Well, I know what we're doing.
and the ships look
Hey,
pretty
so
cool
you
too.
guys didn't like us talking about Sea of Thieves? Wait till we start playing this game.
Oak and I. Okay, here's my triple sloop strategy version 1 battleship. All right, here we go. All right, so they all
Oh.
sunk. We'll get them next time. Thanks for watching the Fifth Troopers. Turns out they're allergic to
Oh,
cannonballs and
that's
boarding
awesome.
action.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looked pretty cool. I was gonna check it out at some point, maybe with this stimulus money. Um, but yeah, it just seemed cool, like a small. It's something you could bring to the shop and
Yeah.
uh, and just put on a table, and looks like I think they said it plays in about an hour.
God,
Um,
I'm gonna buy hard into this. I can already feel it in my blood.
yeah, the Oak and Iron is a 1/600th scale naval war game set in the age of piracy, imperial expansion, and above all, fighting sail. It allows players to recreate battles between small fleets and squadrons of armed ships. The game is designed to be simple and intuitive while also challenging players by providing significant tactical depth,
Hmm,
being true to the theme and tactics of the period, and supplying significant flavor in the various factions represented in this game. So, yeah, that's maybe we'll,
that's cool. We'll have to check it out.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So blah blah blah. There's that. What else is going on? Oh, you know what I want to? Excuse me.
Yeah.
You know what I want to talk about, Evan?
Yeah.
So we had a conversation. And we've had people on the last few episodes, so we haven't really got to discuss it on air yet.
Hmm.
But you and I had this great discussion about how they should release the next factions.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you know what
Okay.
I'm talking about? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
go ahead. I want you to start it because you started it, and then it kind of triggered this whole conversation, and I regret that we didn't have it recorded. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So here's my maybe spicy, not quite hot take. You release First Order as its own like get started box, like kind of like 40K does, where you get like I don't know Kylo Ren, two First Order troopers, and maybe the little support, the little motorcycle with the guy rocket guy in the back, or they have like a
Yep.
little car they drive around in.
Yep.
So you get that, and you don't even do a Resistance faction.
Right.
You just give Rebels the Resistance heroes. So
Right. Because what we were talking about was that if you watch the movies, now I haven't read the books or the comics, the in
yeah.
between stuff, but if you just watch the books or watch the movies, there isn't there isn't a ton of what are you going
like
to do? Repurpose the ATRT again? Like, what do you go? Like you
yeah.
basically they're throughout the movies they're still using the Millennium Falcon. They're still they go to
Dude,
that
yeah.
one base and they're using the same things that were there stored there from years ago. Like what are those? The salt
Oh yeah,
skips
those
or
yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
so
you introduce those to the rebels. You give the heroes to the rebels. You just put all the resistance into the rebels, and then you can do an older Leia, you can do an older Luke, you can do an older Han, right? Like you
Yep.
can and have, maybe make Chewie a commander. I don't know, but like there's all these options to add to this. Add the heroes, add some more add resistance fighters as a core group, but they're all just part of the rebellion.
Yeah.
And
No, I think that's smart.
yeah. And then what you can do is, I think this helps them take it to the next step of, instead of having to release these dual factions every time where it's like the opposing forces, because that's going to get old quick and you're not going to have opposing forces all the time, is it's, instead of doing one big 2-faction release, you do a 1-faction release, then 6 months later do the next faction. So, you could do the First Order, then you could do Scum and Villainy, then you could do Mandalorians, then you could do, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
there's just like tons of options. And here's the question. The real question is, and this is why I think they have to do this, okay? So here's my thought on this. What did the president there of Asmodee, somebody who interviewed him recently?
Team Covenant.
Team Covenant interviewed him, and basically he said there's a big push for their Star Wars properties to do Mandalorian, right?
Yep.
That's Disney's big push right now. They lost. I mean, they basically did not make a ton of money on the recent trilogy. It basically sucked, right? And everybody hated it for the most part, and no one liked it, so they didn't make a ton of money. So, but Mandalorian has been universally loved. And so the big push for Disney Lucasfilm is going to be Mandalorian. So what does that mean? Because Mandalorian happens at a time when the Civil War and Clone Wars are all over, and all your main characters in there are part of no faction.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So that, what's funny about that is right. So like we talked about how because right, like the Resistance just had like rebel troopers more or less,
Right.
right? They were dudes in shirts with guns, right? That's kind of
Yep.
just troopers. And so to me, it's just easier. You release old Han, then you can use young Han or old Han cards, right? That's how you get
Yep.
Han and those guys back in the game. But as for the Mandalorian, right, they didn't have a faction associated with them because they want. I guess he was a rebel, right? If I had to pick one right now and say where does the
but not at
Mandalorian go?
first, right?
No,
at
not at
first
first.
he was
No.
right. It's just, well, and the odd thing is that, okay, so they kind of set this up with like Boba Fett and Bossk. Like they have bounty hunters, right? And
Yeah.
Cad Bane, like they're gonna have bounty hunters. Like but the mistake they made was they put them in a faction. So the question is, how do you get them out of the faction? How do you make factionless or a Scum and Villainy faction where, maybe it doesn't have to be evil, right? Just because
Yeah.
there's Scum and Villainy, it's just like maybe it's an open faction that you're kind of like
unassociated peoples, right? So like
Yeah,
you've got
yeah.
like the cartel. I
Right.
mean, yeah, most of these guys are technically villains, but like the cartel, you've got the Huts, you've got the Black Sun Syndicate, right? You've got
Right.
you could even just have like maybe even throw in like Sand Raiders, I suppose. Just like a catch-all faction of just random Star Wars stuff that
Right.
kind
Well,
of
and
fits together.
this fits in with your thought on how to do the new trilogy stuff too. Because think about it, the first episode of the new trilogy, there was those 2 factions that got on board of Han Solo's ship.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you could bring those factions into that faction. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So there's. It's just, yeah, I think you need to be like, I guess, I don't know what you would call it. I guess you'd have to call it Scum and Villainy at this point, because
Yeah, it's like
that's
best
kind of already
catch-all.
right. That's a precedent already set with Fantasy Flight. But yeah, you could do, that's where you could, so then you have Darth Maul, right? He could be part of Clone Wars, and be part of the CIS, but you could then have him be like R2-D2 and C3PO, where he's a cross-faction unit.
Yeah.
So then he can also be in Scum and Villainy, like leading the what was it, the Red Dawn.
Yeah, so that's, because he was, I mean, right, everyone says we want Darth Maul and CIS, but if you're looking by the movie, he was never really even CIS. He was
Right.
the Emperor's apprentice.
Yep.
So if I or not the like the Emperor's like apprentice. So if I was going to put him anywhere, it'd probably even be Imperial if you wanted him right there. But not I guess not Imperial because that'd be
No,
because the
I
Emperor's
think
just no,
yeah,
it'd be yeah.
I think he has to be scum and villainy. So
Yeah.
here's
Yeah,
what
no,
you do.
that's correct. You are correct there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you're FFG and you wanna put out 2 factions, like, for some reason you're hell bent on
On making
having 2
starters, yeah.
factions at the same time, right? You do First Order, you do Scum and Villainy, and in Scum and Villainy, you have Darth Maul as a commander. You could have, you can have all kinds of different, Red Dawn foot soldiers, but you could also have like the Mandalorians that followed Maul in the Clone Wars. Season of Clone Wars. There's Mandalorians that are, their helmets are shaped like Maul's head and stuff. So like you could have them in there. You could have, you could now put in some of the stuff from Han's the Solo movie,
Yep.
right? Who was the quote unquote bad guy during that like ended up being the beginning of the rebels,
Oh
but
God. Yeah. Oh
Nest.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Um, they could be part of Scum and Villainy, even though like
Yep.
you could have young Han Solo as part of
Yep.
Scum and Villainy. You could, you know what I mean? Like you could have Django Fett. You could just kind of put in all these. I guess Django would be part of CIS, sort
Yes.
of, but
Yeah.
I think there's just this options where you can like, okay, so you just start releasing single factions. So New Order. Let's go through the list. New
Yeah.
Order, Scum and Villainy, Gungans, Genosians.
Gungan Geonosians. The Gungan Geonosian starter set we've all been waiting for.
Right, but Gungans, right? I
Yeah.
know I have. So I think there's all these armies that
You got
have been
the High Republic coming, and you've got the Old
right,
Republic, right? So
right.
there's Sith, like Sith is a whole faction in that, and then whatever they do with the High Republic. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's time just to like right. So you got your core sets, and that's a good. You don't know about the game. 100 is a lot of money, but you get it and you don't like it, then you're only out $100, right? Like that's a good way to start and try it. But if
Yes.
you're really already because you've built a fan base of people already buying it at this point, and man, do I not want to buy a starter just to get half a faction that I actually want to play, right? At this point, when they
Well,
release it,
okay,
let's say they release the next one.
yeah, and I think those starter sets made sense in this and from this perspective.
Yeah,
You have a generation, me, and older, right? Like Gen X and above that were Civil War era, like original trilogy geeks, right? Like
yeah,
loved the original trilogy, loved Rogue One, not a huge fan of the prequels. I've watched some of Clone Wars, but I haven't gotten into it as much as everyone else, right?
sure.
Um, Still love Star Wars, but that's where like Mandalorian is right in my sweet spot because it's that perfect mix of new technology and like new thoughts, but with the old
Old
style of
feel,
how
yeah,
Star Wars should have been, right?
yeah,
And Rogue One was that same thing. New technology, updated graphics, old style. So you have those fanboys and girls, right? That want that. Then you have the new generations, the millennials, and even some of the older guys like yourself who love Clone Wars, right? Like
yep,
big fans of Clone Wars, love the clones and the droids. And the only thing I like about clones and droids is the droids. Like I love those tanks and that thought of fielding that army. But okay, so now you've kind of bridged the gap of the two. Those are really the two fan
yeah. The big ones.
groups, right? So you've captured them already by getting them into the core sets. I don't believe you have to do a core set anymore to
No,
capture anyone. I think now it's just new factions. You just go straight up GW and you just Games Workshop and you just go, we're dropping a new faction, First Order. We're dropping a new faction, Scum and Villainy.
yep.
And frankly, I wouldn't even do First Order first.
I mean,
I think
Scum and
it's
Villainy is an
dumb.
easy one. Yeah.
Here's the problem with First Order. We already kind of have it.
Well, that's the
Kylo
thing.
Ren
It's like
is just a different version of Dooku and of Vader, right? Like it's just another Vader Dooku mix. It's another set of stormtroopers that I have to paint white. This time they just have like snowmobiles that work in the sand. Like who cares? With like guys that jump off the back. Like I don't care. They have some sticks that got, those prod sticks, whatever, that they used for like 1 second in the first movie. Like, okay, they got some stuff, but really, who cares about First Order in the new movies? I mean,
Jeez.
you have, and listen, they were fine, and I'm not trying to like put
No,
them
it's fine.
down.
I'm just letting you go here, man. Just keep
Right.
rolling.
I'm
You're
just
good.
saying there's no value in bringing anything from the new movies into this game right now, currently. Where the value lies is what we all want, which is what we were just talking about. How many times have you heard people ask for Gungan armies? Right? Like
Yeah.
you out there listening may not interest you, it may not interest you, Evan, but there's 1,000 people that it does interest. How many people have been begging for like Ewoks, right? In the Rebel
God,
faction. Like
disgusting.
there's a place for them though, right?
Yeah.
Like them or not, you right now, if I told you, okay, Evan, I know you don't like Ewoks, but I bet you $10 that you could come up with a unit.
Oh, I mean, look, if we got Ewoks, I would totally recreate the mode in Battlefront where it's like one stormtrooper versus 20 Ewoks.
Yeah.
And you try to get out. Like that's yeah, I would as much as I chagrined, I would still be pre-ordering. I'm like, just put them in a brown paper bag. Don't tell
Right.
anyone I've been here.
Like here's how you do Ewoks, okay? It's easy peasy, pumpkin squeezy. So what you do is you treat them like, for anybody out there, you guys have heard me say this a million times. I used to play Warhammer Fantasy a lot. The goblins in Warhammer Fantasy are a perfect analogy for how Ewoks should be in Legion. You have tons of them in a unit. So like right now you can have what, 8 to 9 8, right? Droids in a unit. So
Yeah.
Ewoks you should have 10 in a
God.
unit. Right? So there should be base 8, you can add an extra 9th one, and then you can have an upgraded one for 10. Okay. Then what you do is you create a support a support unit. Okay. Here's what the support unit is. Similar to Warhammer Fantasy, the goblins had this catapult that would shoot these gliders. And then you could glide, you'd have an aerial unit. So you have a support unit that's Ewok gliders that like drop rocks from the sky.
Chop
Okay.
rocks. Yeah, if you pass
Right.
over a unit, roll attack die.
Yeah. So there's your support unit, right? And then you could give them like maybe even you have an operative who's their leader there, right? Who's the head of the Ewoks, and maybe his like 2 pip is if there's a heavy unit within, you drop the large
logs,
tree trunks,
log
yeah,
trap.
the log trap, right? Is his 2 pip log trap, and it deals X damage or whatever. You roll like 4 red attack dice against heavy units or something like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
well, there you go. You just added a whole ton of stuff to Rebels. Like it's easy. You tell me what New Order can do that
I got some.
Stormtroopers, Clone Troopers, Darth Vader, and Dooku can't already do.
Okay. Well, you put me on the spot with a whole lot of stuff. So, all right, I'm gonna try to slowly pick my way out of here. Okay. I think Kylo Ren would be interesting. You could do stuff like he could have like a tenacity kind of system built in, where the more damage he takes, maybe that he unlocks abilities, right? Like
Okay.
if he's got 4 damage, he can do this now. If he's got 5 damage, he can do this. Because right, like in the first movie, he took a full shot from the like Wookiee's blaster bow, right?
Yeah.
And he just kept going, right? That's super cool. Then you have Hux. Hux is he's your lightsaber user of your group, right? You've got
Yep.
Hux as your general like Veers kind of
Yep.
character.
Yeah.
So he can have like his big thing in X-Wing is like coordinating. So maybe he has like a kind of pseudo coordinated fire cards, but except all of them kind of coordinate guys.
Mhm.
I don't know exactly how to do that, but that's just my thought. These are just my base thoughts, and then everything else kind of gets worked out. Then you've got Phasma as your actual like battle commander. She could be equipped with a rifle or the stick she's got, so she could be in place of like a kind of like an Iden, like a frontline commander who can fight. Then you've got I don't think you do Snoke. Throw Snoke out the window. He's out. So those are your three ones you could start with,
I
and
mean,
then
that's what they did in the movies. Threw him out the
yeah, right.
window.
Just throw Snoke right out. But then in X-wing, they have like their thing is like they actually have an upgrade called Fanatical, and so maybe when they lose more troops, they get more attack dice, like your core troopers, something of that nature. But then you've got the traitor, right? TR8R, the guy who sees Finn. So you've got
Yeah.
the batons. Maybe they make them. Maybe it gives them impervious and melee combat with pierce weapons.
Okay.
So maybe not pierce immune like the Royal Guards that keeps them special. You've got flame troopers. You've got rocket like jump troopers, rockets. You've got the speeder car. You've got
Right.
their
But
little bikes.
they're just like a mix of what we are. They're just what we already have.
So yes, but they're what the faction I want to play, even if they are or like what other factions do, they're what I want to play. That's how you have to look at it. Like
Okay.
through someone buying in, like, hey man, like I just like some guys are just like, you know what? I think Kylo Ren's cool. And they
Okay,
came
so
up and I'm like,
let me say this. I don't think he's not cool. Like, I think he'd be fine. I'm saying
I mean,
though,
he saved the movies, Adam Driver.
right,
So
right, yeah, yeah.
the dude needed a back surgery after carrying the trilogy, but
It seems like to me, and maybe I'm wrong here, maybe you're right, but that it just seems to me like there's so much more to be done that like First Order seems like a mistake right now.
no,
Seeing
I'm
as we
not, and I
already
don't,
have two Stormtrooper factions versions of Stormtroopers out there already.
and I agree, and I think there's something to be said for, um, like right Warhammer, right? Like there's a lot of units in 40K that kind of do the same thing, right? Like Chaos Marines versus Space Marines, right? They have some different. There's like they shall not know fear, then Death to the False Emperor. Like they've got little. Like I'm not talking any of the heroes. I'm not talking any of the special units. Just like they're the same guy, right?
Yeah.
You just put a different coat of paint on them. Uh, but there's something to be said for, hey, even though my army is pretty much a clone of that other one, I like it because the heroes are in it that I like. And even though it's a Vader to like maybe zero point 0.5, like Kylo Ren's like a not as good Vader, it's the character I'm playing that I want to play as. Do you understand?
Okay. Yep,
Like
I
that's kind
do.
of how like even though it's the same thing, I'd still rather play this one, even if it's a little worse,
Hmm.
because these are the heroes I like. And that's why
I
I
get
think
that.
you just throw Resistance into Rebels, so you could have Finn, Ray, Old Han, Old Luke, anybody there, and that solves all of your need to make core units and everything for them. Because honestly, they had like the skiff in the third movie they were on that they stole. They had Z6s in Battlefront that just looked like Rebel troop. Right? There's not like
Right.
they don't like because they're bad guys. Bad guys, you need a lot of cool things to fight. The heroes to fight who are bad guys, right? So they get all these
Right.
neat like vehicles, but the good guys are the heroes, right? So you just throw them in there, and then I can still have that Finn versus Kylo Ren on like a snowy hill, and reenact some of those cool movie scenes,
Hmm.
but without having to do a whole Resistance faction. Um, Even though, again, like I get what you're saying, like yeah, we've got clones and we've got stormtroopers. What else? Like, how much different could you make these?
Well, and I'm not saying like don't ever like just like write off.
No,
Don't
no,
just
I
write
agree.
it off like
Yeah, yeah.
never to do it. But I'm saying I don't think that's what you should do next.
No, no, that's fair. And I mean, like, right? They said the Mandalorian's coming. And honestly, I don't see a fit for him in any current faction. So scum and villainy faction.
Right.
Uh, like I don't see a fit that feels good. You could put
Well,
him in a few ones, but I wouldn't
yeah.
feel good about it, right?
Right. I mean, think about not just him, and I guess you would. I guess all there was Death Troopers and there was Moff Gideon and like and there were Stormtroopers, but I guess they would still be part of Empire, right? They're not much different. They're just remnants of the Empire. So you could put them and you could have them introduce them and put them, and give Moff Gideon the dark saber, right, and have him on the Empire, right? That
Yeah,
would be he would be an awesome commander
yeah,
with oh my god. Uh, and then he could have entourage death troopers, right? And you could come up with an upgraded E-web blaster, like with what I mean. So
yeah.
you could add him into Empire. That's how you take care of him. But everyone else in that show,
It's kind of not really anything, right?
right? they're not part. You can't put them on the Resistance or Rebels. They're not even rebels at that point. They're the what are they? The New Republic.
Yeah, it's so like even then it's like right because they don't care about right they don't they care about themselves
Right.
right and that's how do you make a I don't know like I agree like it's I think Gideon goes in Imperials yes like done right he works with Death Troopers maybe I don't know like this is an E-Web heavy blaster. It throws 1 red, 2 black, and 2 white, and it surges to critical. You will not survive if it fires. You've got all that stuff with him, so that's perfect. But like the heroes, if they had to, if you're gonna do that, I guess rebels, but I don't feel like they fit. So me, the only idea in my head would be a scum and villainy faction.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you would put them in, and I think it would be a disservice to the characters to put them into Rebels.
It's kind of like shoehorn them in and be like, okay, that's you're here because Gideon goes
Right.
here, right?
They're
Like
good
that's
guys now, and
yeah.
it's like, nah, they're not really good guys.
Yeah, because the problem with Rebels is, like right, Cassian Andor is like he started off as a questionable
Right.
hero, right? Like he shot that informant, and then he gets away. But at the end, he learned what it is to make the moral choice and not shoot Jin's father. Like right, he had a character arc, and we haven't. The character arc we've gotten out of the Mandalorian so far is I don't want Baby Yoda to go to the Imperials, right? Like
Right.
he's not a terrible dude, but he's definitely not like a you know like a Leia or Han or Chewie
Right.
or
Right.
Sabine. Like putting him next to those heroes seems a little like he's like I guess I'm here, right? Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't like it.
In Scum and Villainy, he's just like I'm here because I want to be. It's like cool, all right, yeah, sure, you're in, bud.
Well, yeah, and then you could have these like okay, because what the woman there oh shoot, I
Oh,
forgot the actress's name. Is it
yeah,
Gina?
the MMA fighter, right?
Yeah, she was an ex-rebel,
Yeah,
right? A shock trooper, a jump trooper. I
she'd
forgot
be a cool
what
operative.
right, but like you could have in Scum and Villainy, you could have like ex
Oh, X different
rebel,
of each one. Yeah, X
right?
Rebels, X Imperials. Yeah,
Yeah, or you could have Scum and Villainy could have like the Bad Batch, right? Like
yeah,
from
yeah,
Clone Wars. Like you could add it doesn't maybe it's not called Scum and Villainy because it makes it sound bad, but maybe it's
yeah.
you come up with another name for it. Like, other that it's just kind of batched together like
Right,
it's a
because in
bunch of different stuff.
War Machine did that. They just called them mercenaries. Like you
Yeah,
got a faction
mercenaries.
that's
Yeah,
just
you could
called
do that.
mercenaries. Like
Yeah.
so that was a bubble. They had their own heroes. They had their own units. They had all their everything. That was
Because
just
that's
their.
where you could put Saw Gerrera in there. You could
Yep.
put his people. You could put all the stuff from Solo in there. You could put because Solo wasn't
Yep.
really there was no good or bad. Like they were against the Empire, right? And
Yep.
but like you could it could just be this catch all for all these amazing units that we won't see otherwise, or that'll get placed in the wrong faction.
Yep. No, I think that sounds
Like
good. Yeah.
I don't want to play Rebels just to play the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like I just don't,
Like I
and
feel like it's just not doesn't feel correct, right?
right, and it's disingenuous to his character in that show if you put him in the Rebels.
Yeah, I agree.
Like imagine like that squad that Bill Burr's squad there, right? Like you could have that.
Oh,
Like I
that
mean, oh
that
my
whole yeah.
god. That like there's
Oh
so
my
many cool
god.
options. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you just call them. I'm sure there's a Star Wars way to call the mercenary faction just something Star Wars themed, not just mercenaries. But
Yeah.
you just do like unassociated peoples or something like that, right? Or maybe they
Right.
make them generics and you can just add them in. I don't know. I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
cool room to grow here.
Yep. All right, Evan. Well, that was a good talk. We did it. We did another hour, buddy.
We did it, boys.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't really have anything groundbreaking. Hopefully, we'll get
We
some
won't.
news soon or anything.
We won't. It's gonna be a while.
We won't.
No, we won't. But all right, well, cool. Thank you everyone for listening, and join us next week.
Everyone, stay rad.
Join us next week for another edition of the Fifth Trooper podcast. This has been a Fifth Trooper production.